Welcome to Shit Black Girls Watch podcast, where we break down film, sex, and black girl magic on every episode, one episode at a time. I'm your co-host Mia Dene here with my bestie Trish, and we are back on the mic to give you the real on what's worth watching, what had us screaming at the screen, and why black women bring the flavor to the culture. So today's topic, we are discussing Abbott Elementary and the rise of our girl Quinta Brunson. But of
Woo,
course,
Quinta.
yes. Whoop, whoop. But of course, before we get into that, we're going to do a few segments like our thoughts of the week. So, Trish, what are your thoughts for this week?
Okay, so that Jussie Smollett documentary came out on Netflix,
It did.
and I think it was meant to highlight his innocence. I know we both watched it.
I did.
I think he still did it. I'm not gonna lie. I think they went out of their way. I mean, they stretched their hand to the Lord and reached for some evidence that supported what he's been saying about it being two white guys. But when the cops, they were one fed up with it. Two, all the evidence, the fact that the brothers came forward, the fact that he sent that, like, coincidentally, I think the evidence that he presented himself, like for his innocence, did nothing to eradicate the evidence against him. So the two brothers coming forward, paying them for services, coincidentally around that time, the two brothers having the Uber in the area, going to Subway during a polar vortex. Like, there was just so much going on. The fact that it was like a noose around his neck, the fact that two white guys would recognize him from Empire. Let's be honest about that. I still think that with all the evidence against him, like the actual tangible evidence, I don't think that the speculation that the guy leaving and saw two white guys, even when they showed that grainy footage at the end, I was like, that still looked like two black guys to me. Or the first one looked like a black guy to me.
So, okay. At first, when I saw the documentary, I was just like, why is this man still lying? Why do we have to have a whole documentary about this?
Like,
But towards
juicy.
the end, the new evidence has swayed me, and at this point, I don't know who's telling the truth and who's lying. For one, I do. First of all, they brought in the new evidence of the two witnesses,
Yep.
and I feel like why would these people randomly like make this up? So I believe the two witnesses, especially since we saw the video of well, we didn't see the video of the security guy um, being outside and the two white men running past him because a clip of it was cut out of the video.
Yes.
So I just think there's a lot of evidence that shows that the Chicago PD tried to not really do a good investigation. I also feel like what else was there? The video at the end, at first, I was like, that could be a light-skinned white man. But regardless, it wasn't the two brothers. And that was my thing.
So there's that. Okay, I'll take that. So in my mind, I do want to say, when this first came out, I was the biggest supporter
Oh, we
of
all
Jesse.
were. We all
We, like,
were.
as a queer, I was like, this is exactly what people like Trump going into power means. And it was something to corroborate my own fears about where the country was going and where society was
Hmm.
going. So I was like, this is exactly what we expected. So it was an easy sell. However, two things can be true at once. The Chicago PD and that particular like chief had some shit going on with them and all the other shit. They could be corrupt, and Juicy could be lying. So I
Yes.
think I think there's two things that could be true. Now I did think at the end I was like, okay, at the very least, it's not the brothers.
Hmm.
So that could be anybody just walking around, I guess, in a polar vortex, because apparently people was just doing that, but whatever. But it could have been anyone. I just think that the fact that the brothers randomly had an Uber trip to the area.
Yeah, I don't know about the Uber trip. That, yes, you're right. That is hard evidence. But I feel like the niggas lied. I feel like the police coerced them
Mhm.
once they found out he had some previous record. because
Mm-hmm.
even when they played the tape about, having his record expunged and
Mm-hmm.
all this other stuff, I don't know. It just seemed real suspect, and it made me doubt if Jesse was completely lying.
I do think that they exacerbated some of the like some of the nonsense. I think they maybe exaggerated some of the claims. That's cool. However, do I think that Jesse Smollett mailed a letter to himself and then hired two people
Oh
to beat
yeah,
him
that
up,
letter. I forgot about that
pour
letter.
bleach on him, and put a noose around his neck? I do. I do think that. It doesn't mean I love him any less, actually. I get what he was trying to do.
No, I
Um,
get what he was trying to
I
do.
get what he was trying to do. However, I think that it creates issues for people who actually experience hate, actually experience assault, and want to come forward. Then people use these one instances because like only like what is it, like 1% of like false allegate, or like 3% of allegations are actually false when it comes to like assault and things like that.
Mhm.
um they use these 3% of instances or whatever to try to say that more people are lying than are telling the truth, and I can't fuck with that. So I do think they tried their best. Like I said, they stretched their hand to God to try to find a way to make him more innocent, but I am not buying it. I'm sorry, Jesse. I love you
Yeah,
though.
I mean, I think they tried their best. And at this point,
Girl, did you see the scene
wait,
where
what?
he was performing and he was on stage and he was like, now is the time to be blacker, it's the time to be gayer. And then he was performing. And then they said he went and got the sandwich after he got attacked.
No, he got the sandwich before, but the cop was saying that what person would get attacked and still kind of like remember to get the sandwich. He
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like nothing was wrong. He didn't see any
It was
dirt
in
on the
perfect
bag. Like,
condition.
yeah. So that was a little sus.
It's
There
like,
are things that
sir.
are sus, and so I just don't know which way to turn with this case. At the end of the day, I do think it helps sway a few people, but I don't know if it will help bring his career back in any way. And it's just really unfortunate because I feel like he was about to be such a big star.
He
And
didn't need to do this.
yeah, if he did it, he did not need to do this. If he didn't do it, it just sucks that this is what happened to him. I don't know what kind of karma was around him, but it just sucks. If he did not do this and he was set up in that way, it's crazy. And I don't know if we'll ever know. But
I, I don't know if we will, because I mean, he's standing 10 toes down. He seems to believe he's innocent, and I will say that I believe that he believes he's innocent. So I'll say that.
okay, so we're gonna transition from this because I can tell you can still go on about this Jesse Smollett. So okay, so today we're talking about girl Abbott or we're talking about Quinta Brunson and the amazing show Abbott Elementary, where we actually did an Abbott Elementary trivia night. We did it last week?
Tell the
Yeah,
people about it.
yeah, it was really fun. So if you don't know, Ship Black Girls Watch does monthly trivia nights in New York City. So our first one was Living Single. We've done Insecure, and we just finished up with Abbott Elementary. And next month we're gonna bring back Living Single because why not? But yeah, Abbott was really fun. We had about 12 women come out, and we do like 2 or 3 rounds of trivia. We give out prizes. We just have a good kiki with each other, and it's really just about building community and just having a good time. So super excited. So at the end of this episode, Trisha's gonna do some trivia because she wasn't at the event. So I'm gonna test her on her Abbott trivia.
God, we'll see how I do with that.
All right. So who's your favorite character in Abbott Elementary, though?
I don't know why his name is slipping me. Um, the rapper boyfriend.
Tyreek.
Mm-hmm. Tyreek
He
is one of my favorite characters.
his transition in the show was really interesting. The fact that they kept him around even after they broke up.
Yeah, he's almost like Hood Yoda in a way, but like he is still around. Why was he still around?
He supposedly dates one of the students' moms now. And
Oh, and he
he's
be in
like,
there acting like the best stepdad in the world
he
too.
does.
But I did like his character. I thought he was probably one of the funniest. But as far as like reoccurring, I probably Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, I do love Mr. Johnson as well. He is ridiculous. All of his jobs, all of his life experiences. Yeah, his one-liners are just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say my favorite character is Jacob. And I kind of hate to say that a white man's my favorite character in a black show, but I was rewatching it. I've been rewatching it a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I just love how authentic Jacob is, regardless of who's around him. He's like nerdy, he's quirky, he's gay. And I appreciate that he's a true ally, and I think he's a great representation of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for him, like being a great ally is that he doesn't try to conform to like being black. He just like likes black culture, and so he knows it, and then
Mm-hmm.
he'll spew it out, but in his own white way. And it's just like, okay, great, you're not trying to act black, and I think that's why I like Jacob. But then what I really started to like about Jacob is they have this ongoing theme with him where he's just really good at a lot of shit. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you noticed this. But like in the beginning, it was like the first episode or something, the first season, he was like hopscotching. He's like good at magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
It was like so many random things that he was good at, but nobody else, like the black people were not good at it. And I was just like,
Yeah. I mean, typical magic tricks in the back of white pockets. But I think the funniest thing about Jacob to me, I do love Jacob. I
you
think
sound like a
Jacob,
hater.
I do. But I actually genuinely do love Jacob. I do think, again, speaking about like white characters and black spaces, I think that he comes across where he's not like appropriating black culture in any way. He really seems to care about the kids. He really seems to care about learning. He loves teaching. He loves the job. Um, I think his ongoing beef with what is it, Mr. Morton,
Yeah.
is hilarious to me because Jacob, for all intents and purposes, is like this really level-headed character, really positive, really passive, really just like overall a good person. But whenever fucking Joseph Morton gets involved, he's just like, "Oh, I hate that guy," and I'm just like, "What is your
And
beef with
nobody, yeah,
him?"
nobody understands why.
No, no one understands, but it's like his ongoing beef. And I'm just like, you know what? I like that he's not like wholly just a wholesome character. I like that they added that piece to him, and I really like him for that reason.
Yeah. So let's get into a little bit of Quinta's career trajectory. I think, most of us found out about her when she did the videos, the McDonald's videos of, ooh, he got money.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually a whole series. And I thought she was already at BuzzFeed when she was doing these videos, but she was actually
Mm-hmm.
started doing these videos. And
Mm-hmm.
she eventually got a job at BuzzFeed through a friend, Justin. So I thought that was just amazing in general that she was like, she already had the mindset. Like she was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it in
She
this
was on Vine,
industry.
right?
Yeah, I think so. So it's like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it in this industry, but I'm gonna put my stuff out there. I'm gonna write some stuff. I'm gonna do jokes. I'm gonna do skits. And that's how most of people get discovered today, anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Vine put a couple of people on. I don't know why that app didn't work or like why that social media in particular did not work,
Well, I
but
think they stopped extending the time frame. I think that's why it was always
uh,
just like 10-second videos or something.
they were hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, so yeah, she started off with that video, then transitioned to BuzzFeed, and I love what she was saying. We're referencing this video that she did with BuzzFeed, where she was just referencing like there's a specific era of YouTube where you could put stuff out there and it could easily go viral or people would easily see it.
hmm,
And there was an era of YouTube where web series and
yeah.
and comedies was like a really big thing. Like I feel like it was in the what was it, 2011,
It
2012?
was
Like
definitely around that time because we were in college and you put me
yeah.
onto web series because you put me onto Issa's Awkward Black Girl and you put me onto what is it, Buddy's Friends Lovers or whatever, Roomie's Friends
Oh, Roomie
Lovers.
Lover Friends, which was on,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you had to like pay for the finale and we were all in somebody's dorm trying to watch the finale.
I was really obsessed back then. There was like Dorm Entertainment was like a whole YouTube channel. It was so many pockets of YouTube channels. So
Mm-hmm.
Quinta got in right at the right
She
time.
did.
And so with BuzzFeed, they were allowing them to like make series, make their own series. And so she started there and she started with Justin, and I forgot the other guy's name, but it was an Asian guy and a white guy. It was just the three of them making like skits and stuff. And she was like the lone black person, the lone representation of blackness.
She
But
was, but she
yeah.
said she wasn't alone in like her sense of humor because she
Yeah.
did say it was really easy to make content with people who shared her sense of humor.
And I think that makes a big difference. It's like it's hard to find people to create something with, but let
Mm-hmm.
alone like we all instantly sync. And so
Mm-hmm.
it makes creating content even easier because we kind of have like you said, the same type of humor, the same type of views,
Mm-hmm.
or we're just easy to work with because we get each other. And I
Yeah.
think that's so hard when it comes to production because it's like I've been in New York for almost 15 years, and people will have many idea, but not everybody is on the same page about what the goal of the idea,
Mm-hmm.
what the punchline is, you know? So the fact that she kind of fell into this trinity was like
Mm-hmm.
godsend. And then from that, she kind of like spewed off into other people's like web series within the BuzzFeed world. And she was like really like building a name for herself. She started doing her own web series. I think it was called Broke. She
I
piloted,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, she like wrote and piloted her own web series about her and two of her guy friends that were basically broke in LA. And that was the first thing she sold.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of got her juices going and like gave her the momentum to keep going in the industry, which I think is really cool. And then after that, I think there was something else before that, before she left BuzzFeed and then eventually got to Abbott Elementary. Oh, this is what it was. Um, so then she started writing a pilot series. Um, it was about her. Well, I don't think it was about her, but it was about a female character and a male character who came across like an unexpected pregnancy. And
Yep.
it was like one of her first pilots that she actually tried to write and pitch to network television. And it was basically a big flop. Like nobody wanted it.
Oh,
So
poor Quinta.
I know, I know. So then she eventually pivoted to this concept of Abbott Elementary, where she was inspired by, of course, we know she was inspired by her mother, who was
Mm-hmm.
a second grade teacher for many years. But she said she really came across the idea when she went to go visit her mom. Very similar to the story with uh what's Cheryl Lee Roth's character's name? Why am I forgetting her name?
Um, is it Miss Johnson?
No, not Miss Johnson. Everybody's not a Johnson.
Oh, Barbara Howard.
Barbara.
You're right.
Okay.
I
So,
said Black Johnson. Go
so,
ahead.
so Quinta, basically the same storyline that Miss Barbara had, where she had the open house and her daughter came to visit her for the day,
Mm-hmm.
is the real story that inspired Quinta to write the script of Abbott Elementary. She went to visit her mom for open house one day, and she stayed with her mom from like 12 to 8 p.m. and nobody showed up except this one woman that showed up at like 7:58. And Quinta was like so mad and frustrated that she waited so long to get there, but her mom understood that if this is the time she can get here, this is the time she can get here. And she gave her that time to talk about her daughter or her child. And so that was kind of like the catalyst, like that gave her the idea to create Abbott. And through that, she brought in Larry Wilmore, who's an amazing writer, producer. He's helped to do so many black sitcoms like the Bernie Mac show. He was the showrunner from that. I recently saw a crazy interview about that. We'll talk about that later. But she brought him in, and he helped her develop the script, Abbott Elementary. He also helped Issa Rae with Insecure. So the man knows what he's doing when it comes to television, and helped her get that out the door and actually get it sold. So yeah. Go Quinta.
Yay, Quinta. I
What's
mean, when I think about like how accurate, and I'm even though I'm not a K through 12 teacher, I have lots of teacher friends. I did work in a K through 12 school. And
For
I
several
think,
years.
yeah, I think they got a lot of, in the same kind of situation that, the teachers in Abbott are in, where you have a school with primarily Black and Brown students.
Hmm.
You're dealing with diverse families, diverse backgrounds. I do think they got it right as far as how teachers were represented. I think that was a really they wrote the characters really well. I think I even read in some of your research like about how teachers really enjoy Abbott and really rated it high because of how accurately it represented them, and how
Hmm.
some teachers are represented as like hating their jobs and not as involved. But then you have people like Jacob, you have people like Janine, even Ava to some degree. Like you have these characters who really are invested in the kids, their growth. Somebody like Barbara, like you have all these different representations in the classroom. Every single educator can see themselves in at least one of these characters. So I
Hmm.
think her inspiration in working so close with like her mom, or thinking about her mom and bringing her mom's career to life in this, really comes across in the writing and in the show itself.
Yeah, for sure. Like even when you talk about the representation of the school, like they wanted it to be extremely accurate to the area of Philadelphia. So the school district in Philly, West Philly, is, 75% Black and Latina. So you see that in the show. And it wasn't until last season that they got the first white kid at the
Mm-hmm.
school. So
I was like, was there a white kid in the school? But you're right.
yeah, they got one little white boy. Um, and that's because the golf course came. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think they do a great job of making sure Philly's represented. We always know that Philly shows up in this show heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and just making sure the teachers are represented really well, which I think is really important. So a little bit about what we're going to talk about today is, more of the making of Abbott Elementary, and then also the impact that it's having, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just shaping television.
Was inspired by her mom, her favorite teacher. Do you have a favorite teacher that you feel
Oh,
like made an impact on you?
oh, that's so cute. Look at you.
I
I was not expecting that question. So,
know.
let me think. Like early on, like in elementary school and stuff, I had a favorite teacher. I think her name was Miss Brenda, this black woman from the third grade that was just really sweet. And then I guess my most impactful teachers were like in high school. And I had a really great professor in college that I really liked. High school, it's such a shame. I don't even remember this woman's name, but she was my US history, my AP US history teacher. And I think teachers are connect to me when they make me feel more like courageous and just like more confident in who I
Mm-hmm.
am because of my, my brain, my smartness, my answers. So in that AP US history class, I did really well with the coursework, and like I just really like history in general. Like I like to read about history and stuff, so I kind of excelled in that. And she was just always like bigging me up and like let me know I was doing a good job, stuff like that. So she was really great. And then in college, when I started taking film communication studies classes, I had this professor, Mark Robinson, who was like the director of the communications department. But he was a really cool white guy. And like I took his audio like engineering class, and I was not the best at like I don't want to say making friends, but like really like partnering up with people
Wow.
in the department. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
But I was always like the only black woman, the only sometimes the only black person in the class. And so I just really didn't know how to connect to other
Mm-hmm.
students that didn't look like me. And so, with film, it's like a team sport. Like you need
Mm-hmm.
people to help you create these projects. And so he gave us this like audio project where we had to like basically create some type of storyline. It was very like vague. Like we could kind of do anything we want, but it was an
I
audio.
love that.
Yeah, so I came up with this like because I didn't have any people to help me be the
Mm-hmm.
characters. I basically was this woman that had multiple personalities. And so I went in and I tweaked my voice, and one voice sounded like a little kid. So one of my personalities was this little kid. And I had like two other personalities, and basically at the end, I killed myself. It was kind of dark, sorry,
That
but
is pretty dark. God damn.
sorry. And then like during it, I was like reading the Lord's Prayer, like reciting the Lord's Prayer the whole time, and yeah.
Hmm.
So he really liked the project, and I was just like, I felt good, and he was kind of always like pushing me and encouraging me.
Hmm.
So I think like he just helped me realize that I really did like working in media. And then after that, I still keep in contact with him to this day. Like he'll email me sometimes to check in on me, and so yeah, I think Mark was probably one of the most impactful teachers.
Not that.
Yeah. What about you? I know
Um,
you didn't like school, so who was your?
right. So for those of you that don't know, surprise, surprise, who goes on to get a PhD is the person who hated the school the most. So I was listening to you talk about like how you feel like you connect with teachers. And I think a lot of my teachers, maybe because I didn't like school, I think they were kind of just like, but I passed tests and I wrote papers and I was still getting good grades somehow. I think they just kind of left me alone for the most part, but I think I connected to teachers that challenged me.
Hmm.
And if they gave me something, I remember there was this one, I cannot remember if it was Miss Freeland. Do you remember that AP English teacher at Hoke? She had red hair and we gave her a run for her money and I feel so bad about it. But I think she had given us this project one time where we had to kind of like pick, like debate a topic that we didn't necessarily agree with. And anytime a teacher that I can think of gave me a critical thought project, I always excelled at it. And mine just happened to be an affirmative for like slavery, which is a really weird project to do,
Oh my
but it
goodness.
was very, yeah, it was very challenging to do to try to argue that point. But it was to get us to think critically. And when I was listening to you, I was thinking about Miss Calder, who I had for I think second and fourth grade, if I recall. And I remember she kind of gave me this project that I think about often, actually, especially as I get older. And we had to write down the instructions for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And she taught us basically multiple things in this project. It was like clear instructions, critical thought, putting yourselves in the shoes of another person, another learner. Because when we gave her the instructions, she actually was in front of us making the peanut butter and jelly. So as I was reading my instructions, if I didn't tell her to specifically open the bread package, she would smear the peanut butter and jelly on the bread inside of the plastic. And she'd be like, "Well, you didn't tell me to do that." So it was funny, and I remember it so much because I was like, "Damn, that was my first interaction with like critical thinking in that way, where it's like now I have to really think about what I'm telling you to do, how I'm telling you to do it. Did I tell you to pick up the knife again, or just smearing peanut butter with your hand?" And we would all laugh because obviously our instructions weren't that great. But I had her twice, and I remember she was such a good teacher that, and I don't even know if you know this, but I was the only one, I think, in fourth grade to score 4 on the writing test that year.
Look
And
at
there
you,
was,
girl.
I know, so it was such a whole thing. I remember she was really excited and she ran out to the other teachers. I guess you get a bonus or something. I don't know. And she was like, "We got one." And I was like, I thought it was Jamie Decatur or somebody like that. And she was like, "It was me." And there was a whole assembly where you had to, I might have been like one of two, but you had to read your entire like writing test to the audience. And I remember my grandma and grandpa came. It was this whole big
That
deal.
is so cute.
I know it was really cute, but I think about her often because I also gave her a run for her money. I gave everybody that tried to mentor me in any way a run for their money, but I always remember the people that continued to challenge me despite like me kind of being that child, because all my other teachers are like, "Man, get her tested for ADHD." And that's actually a thing with students or like that have ADHD is if they're not being challenged, they might not value whatever it is you're putting in front of them. So I think
Yeah.
that was my approach to education was like, if you're not making it hard or if it doesn't feel difficult, like if I can go home and teach myself this and still pass your test, I don't feel like I have to perform for you. So shut up to me.
Yeah, girl. I mean, that's the prime example of some of the stories we've seen in Abbott.
Yeah,
The one little girl in particular that Janine and Melissa's character had a rough time
I
figuring
remember.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you explained that perfectly. And so I'm sure if you were experienced that, 20 years ago, then there are so many stories like it. And
Yeah.
obviously that's what we love about Abbott Elementary, but I want to talk a little bit about like the making of it, like the
Yeah.
making process. the casting. Um, so I thought it was really interesting that in the beginning, when she was pitching the series Quinta, she actually was not a character. She did not make herself a character. And the studio
Mm,
was basically like, we're not about to buy this unless you're a character. So she kind of had to write herself in. And the character that she developed with Janine is obviously this very optimistic person, very positive. And it was based off of like one of her coworkers at BuzzFeed, I believe.
yeah, that she said she didn't like at first.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really funny. And I think like some of us think that these characters on Abbott are actually like what these people are like in real life. Like
Hmm.
for me, Janine would kind of be similar to Quinta, but
I so seeing Quinta in interviews, I would see the distinct difference because even when she was
Mhm.
talking about like her trajectory and why she left BuzzFeed, at the end she has to promote her book, and she's just like, "This is what you have to do when you write a book." Like, I don't hate doing this type of thing, and I was just thinking like, "Oh, she's not like this bubbly, like everything's amazing all the time." And when she was talking about that particular coworker, I felt her on that. I don't like an overly optimistic, toxic positivity type person. If you're too bubbly, especially before the hours of 9 a.m., and you come around me talking too much, and it's just like you're smiling a lot, I'm like, why? Why are you the way that you are? Like it don't make sense to me. So I did feel her on that. But it's interesting that because she said that, like she grew to love that person actually, and that that person became like one of her favorite people, and that you need those type of people to keep the world going because of
Mhm.
how they are and how they instill hope in everyone around them. And when she reframed it like that, I was like, oh fuck, now I'm switching sides.
You
I was
do
like,
need
you
those type of
do,
people. And I think I'm more of an optimistic person than
you are.
yeah.
I could be
But
a curmudgeon. Is that how you
but
say
I'm
it?
not I'm not like overly bubbly though. Like
No,
don't
but
talk
you
to me
are an
early in the
optimist.
morning. Yeah, I am optimistic. But a few other people that I found interesting in the casting process was I thought it was really cool and funny that Cheryl Lee Ralph actually wanted to be Ava, the principal.
That was wild because I was like, that would have looked so
Different.
different.
Yeah.
And I only can see her as Barbara, as this nurturing, loving Jesus, like mom figure in the show. And to think of her as somebody like Ava, who's like a hot girl out here dating, like just out here in these streets, I'm like, I don't know if I could have seen Barbara as that.
Yeah, and Quentin knew. Quentin knew we
Yeah.
couldn't see it, so that's why it didn't happen. But I think also Cheryl Lee Ralph, said that she felt like the character was going to be ignored and forgotten
Mm-hmm.
because, a lot of women characters that are the nurturers, the
Mm-hmm.
caregivers, are not main character energy. You know what I'm
And
saying?
look what happened.
Yes, the woman has a whole Emmy.
Mm-hmm. And only
Mhm.
the second black woman to get that an Emmy for what, best supporting actress in a comedy.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
And so that's like the impact that Abbott has had, that we're going to talk about a little bit more. But yeah, so I just love that Quinta was very specific about who she wanted casted. She was just like, she saw the characters. And
Mm.
even with Ava's character, what's her name? Her real name, Janelle James.
James. Mm.
She was one of the actors with the least amount of experience in the cast, the ensemble cast, and she kind of had to convince the studio to let Janelle play this role because she basically was just like, look, like she's perfect for this role, and it would take us more time to find an actor
Mm-hmm.
and like build and shape her into what the character needs to be versus just letting her do it and taking some acting classes, like getting her skills up or whatever she needs to do. So
Mm-hmm.
Quentin kind of had to convince the studios to bring on Janelle for this role, and I'm so glad that they agreed to it because she really is the star of Abbott Elementary.
She is for
Yeah.
multiple reasons. And I like that Ava is a multifaceted black woman. Like
Mhm.
even her kind of like liking that nerdy tech guy
Oh my God, I love it. I
but
cannot wait.
even
Sorry, I'm sorry.
go
Let me
ahead.
say, I'm just really excited for this new season because I really want to see how their love story progresses because
Same.
he's nerdy, but he does not play
Play
around.
around.
Yes, he knows how to respect himself, and he's like, Ava, I'm
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, and he's not afraid to cut her ass off. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
And she knows it. And she's like, mm. Okay, well, fine. Even when they went on that, like, I guess it was like a date, and she was like, "Oh, she had another day after or something." Like she was playing in his face basically, and he was like, "I don't want to do this." And like he had like enough self esteem and enough self respect to like cut her shenanigans off. And I was like, I love this for Ava, but I like that Ava is both this city girl and a professional, even though she did bribe her way into the position, whatever. Like, however you get there is how you get there, I guess. But I like that she's flawed. I like that we got to see the relationship with her dad. I like that she has these layers that are kind of folding back as we progress. I like that Ava wasn't somebody we got to know all
At
together
once.
up
Yeah.
front at once. Yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah, I feel like her progression as a character, they really thought about the most. And I
Mm-hmm.
just appreciate that they're making her so nuanced because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there are so many Black women that really relate to her. And I think a lot of people relate to Janine and Miss Barber too, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say they're safe, but I think
They are kind of safe.
they're kind of safe. And I feel like with Ava, she's just someone that really like lives on the edge and puts everything out there, and it's kind of just like you get what you get with her. And so I feel like people like that, you just never know what you're gonna get, and you never know what you're gonna find out about them, and what really like affects them. So I appreciate that they're like peeling back the layers with her and allowing us to really like start to love her, because of course in the beginning you were just over her. You were just like, she's worthless, like why is she here?
But well, there's something subversive about Ava too. Like she's ratchet, but she's in the highest position of power.
Hmm.
She is, for all intents and purposes, rude and unpleasant most of the time, but she's
Yes,
lovable. And I think
exactly.
you need those multifaceted Black women in shows. And I don't know if Quentin knew this, that we needed an Ava, but you need that type of representation because we, again, I'm constantly saying this, but like we don't get to choose who's worthy of respect. And I think when you put somebody like Ava on the screen and we know who she is and what she's about and how she's moving, and we still somehow respect her as a person, as a character, I think that's important because it normalizes that type of respect across the board for Black women. It's not just nurturing Miss Barbara's, it's not just the safe, upbeat Janines, it's also the loud and ratchet and still showing up professionally in their own Black way, Ava's as well. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I agree. So another character that I really do like is Miss Shamenti.
I do
Um,
too. You can tell she grew up around Black people.
yeah, I mean, she's very Italian also. She
She
doesn't
is.
seem like it. But I thought it was interesting that actually if it wasn't her who is Lisa Ann Walter, the actress, it would have been her sister's character who
I
was Krista
seen.
Marie. So they were up at the casting team was either thinking about putting Lisa Ann Walter in or the actress that plays Krista Marie, the sister. So I
Mm-hmm.
think regardless, I think obviously they made the right choice, but I love that they were able to bring back the other actress to bring her sister because they really do look like family in real life.
Mm-hmm. They do.
I thought that was really cool. When it comes to Jacob's character, they were basically just saying that when they instantly saw him, they knew that he was right for the character for the role because of his audition tape. It was like so authentically him, and I
Mm-hmm.
do think that Jacob is probably the one character. His real name is Chris Perfetti. I think he's probably the one character that's the most similar to his actual
He
character.
is.
So, so I just love that he just authentically showed up as himself and he got this part.
Yeah.
So was there anything about uh Tyler James Williams? I don't remember seeing anything when I was researching that was like
Oh,
when it came to his casting, I mean.
oh, when it came to his casting, no, I don't think so. I don't remember why Quinta actually picked him, but I'm glad she did because I think it's just like when we're thinking about like a character like Gregory, I think that again representation matters, and we always have like we're getting more representation for like awkward Black girls. I don't know if we're
Hmm.
getting enough for like awkward Black men because they exist, and like the
Yeah.
nerdy Black men and the non-toxic masculinity Black men
Hmm.
and all of those things. Like I think he represents a different version of Black masculinity, and I'm just glad we get to see it. Like he's soft, but he's not soft.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. and he's awkward, but he's still like, I don't know, he puts himself out there. He tries to interact with people. I just don't know if we get enough representation of like introverted black men.
Yeah, and I think actually I did see he said something about his role and the
Mm,
influence that he wants to have with the role is that he does
mm,
want to show other young black men that they don't have to have be making six figures to be making an impact. They don't have
mm-hmm.
to be out here, tricking
Yeah.
basically to feel powerful or valuable. And he was just like he just wants to show these young black men that there are really great black men out here that have regular jobs that are making a impact in their community in the most like authentic way
Mm-hmm.
um, that isn't surrounded by money. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
that that was really cool that he was saying his level of success basically isn't defined by the materialistic, but like what he's really doing and how many people he connects with. And so that's what
Yeah.
he really loves about his character.
Yeah, he just genuinely, it's like I was watching Jesse Wu randomly and Blue Centric talk about how when it comes to black women, sometimes we have to choose a man that's pro-black or a man that's misogynistic. Like
Mm.
we kind of have to pick between the two. And I think Gregory is a good example of someone who is still black, pretty open about that, pretty into being like, I wouldn't say unapologetically black, but he's his own version of blackness. And he's also not misogynistic. And I think that is really important for people to see. And to your point, he does talk about like you don't need to trick and all this other stuff. And he talks about like how this work is hard. He was talking about this is a hard job that they're doing. They're there for like 12 hours a day sometimes as teachers, and
Mm.
they still are fulfilled by the work that they're doing. And you can also be grounded as a man, as a person in finding fulfillment in your work, even if to your point, you're not an NBA player or a fucking NFL player or signing six-figure deals every year.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's transition a little bit into like the filmmaking process of Abbott Elementary. So we know that it's shot in LA. I hope you know it's not really shot in Philadelphia, at the Warner Brothers
I
studio.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
It is
They
shot
brought Philly to
in,
LA.
in LA at the Warner Brothers studios, and like they created the set design to look obviously like Philly. And then what I actually found really interesting is that Quinta was talking about the set in an interview, and she was talking more so about like the students and how the students will actually
Mm-hmm.
think that she is their teacher because the set is really, just a regular school set, a school
Mm-hmm.
and that the students that are working on set, they actually have them doing their real schoolwork. Like this isn't just a acting job. Like they actually have to do the schoolwork. And so even with that, it's not set up as a traditional studio where there's like, just the cameras everywhere
Mm-hmm.
in a staged position. It's shot more like a mockumentary, obviously, because it's themed after The Office. So it's shot, like a documentary, and so the cameras are constantly moving. The
Mm-hmm.
kids never know where the cameras are going to be, so they're not focused on the cameras. They're focused on actually like doing the schoolwork. And so she was like, sometimes they're in the middle of the shoot, and the kids are asking to use the bathroom, or they're doing random things, and you kind of just have to keep going along with it. And I thought that was really interesting. I just think it makes it feel more authentic when it comes to the show.
I agree. And I think you had put something really interesting about like the lighting as well. I don't know if you talked about that, but as far as like how even though it's a mockumentary and it kind of mimics The Office, that The Office uses like cool colors, low ceilings,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Abbott.
overhead
Hmm.
lighting. Yeah.
And yes, overhead lighting, that's what it was. But and Abbott is warm and welcoming, and it uses like just different colors in The Office. I thought that was really interesting too, because I didn't notice that, but I also think those colors work better with like, black cast too.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it works a lot better with like you said, like different skin tones. But I think
Hmm.
also Quinta was saying that she wanted the teachers to look flattering because she knows
Hmm.
that this is a tiresome job. But in the TV show, she wants the teachers to come off as warm, welcoming, to look good. And I appreciate that because we all know that dang on office overhead lighting is not it. Like we'd be in conference rooms and we're like,
Those fluorescent
oh,
lights are the worst.
this lighting is awful. I can't even
And
take
then we'd
a
be on
photo.
Zoom looking like Snorlaxes.
So yeah, it's the little things that make Abbott what it is. Like even how they shoot the testimonials in the
Hmm.
hallway
I thought that
versus
was interesting.
yeah, versus like in the office they do it I think in the conference rooms and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But in Abbott they do it in the hallways because honestly that's the only place that you can have a conversation. Like,
Facts.
it's regular. Like when a teacher has to have a conversation with an adult, they go in the hallway.
Hmm.
And
And they don't
so
have time to be sitting in a conference room and being pulled aside. Like they are really going all day. There's some teachers I'll see eating and walking just to get like a bite of food in. Like it's all day.
yeah. So that's the reason they do the testimonials in the hallway to show how busy the teachers actually are and that they really don't have much time to to
Hmm.
talk to you.
Fuck around.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. Why do you think Abbott Elementary is like so loved and such a relevant show? I know we kind of discussed it a little bit, but what is your take on it?
Um, I think it's so lovable because it's so relatable. I think there's more people than social media gives credit to that have
Mhm.
9 to 5s. And even if you're not a teacher, you know what it means to clock in and clock out of a job. You know what it means to have quirky coworkers, or coworkers you hate, Mr. Morton, the Barbaras. We know these people in real life, and I think because we know these people in real life and we see them constantly, and we spend so much time with them, it's easy for us to sit in front of a TV and relate to what's happening in front of us. We all know what it means to try to get funding for something because we don't have enough in the budget. Like there's certain things that are just relatable across like corporate America, across different jobs. Even if you're doing like blue collar work, we know what it means when you have unions trying to get more money or more pay and stuff like that. And we know what it means to do like thankless work and have to have these, if you really care about what you do, and me working out of college, even I have to do this sometimes, like trying to be really creative about making the most impact with the work you do. So
Hmm.
I think when I watch it, it's really lovable to me and I resonate with it. Just kind of seeing people on screen living like their daily lives. And it's not this glamorized, sensationalized version of it. It really is just human beings in everyday life.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. And then while you were saying that, it actually made me think that teachers are actually customer service providers. Like,
Yeah.
I know we don't really think of it in that way, but just the fact that they still have to deal with parents and they still have to deal with education boards and hitting all these
Mm-hmm.
quotas, it's like they're really providing a service to these parents and to the community. And that in itself is relatable because all of us know what it's like to have bad service. All of us
Mm-hmm.
know what it's like to serve within over.
Maybe because
Mhm.
I don't think enough people have dealt with like an angry customer. I don't know.
I don't think everybody has, but yeah. Oh, that reminds me of my waitressing days, but continue.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I've had to like deal with parents who come in on 10 and they want to fight and they really want to know, like, what happened with my kid? Like, what's going on? They only have one side of the story. Somebody did something and sent it to them, and now they're coming in with no context and you're having to explain yourself. And you're having to hold space for two things at once where it's like this is the facts of what was happened because I'm an adult that was here. Also, I understand that you hearing this with no context as a parent and knowing that your child was involved, I would be on 10 too. So you're trying to navigate conversations. Also, there's probably kids running in the hallway. Also, there's deliverables that need to be done. Also, you probably have a class coming up soon. Sometimes parents are showing up at your classrooms. You got to implement no entrance policies. Like there's just a lot that goes into providing that service for students, for the parents. And I think a lot of people, if I'm being completely honest, didn't realize what that service was until COVID. And they had to sit
Mhm.
at home and they had to actually help their kids with homework. And they
Yeah.
didn't just rely on the school system to teach their kids anymore. They finally understood what it meant to be a teacher, what it meant to be with your kid for 8 hours a day, trying to get them to learn something with their little childhood brains. Like it's a different process of learning. It's a different process of teaching. Oops, sorry. It's a different process of learning and it's a different process of teaching.
But yeah, I think the reason that I love Abbott so much is obviously all those things that you said, but I think also the aspect around like the coworkers and actually getting to see them really build relationships, and that they're like growing together, they're learning new skills together, they're getting on each other's nerves, but they're
Hmm.
reconciling things, and I just really love to see the friendships and the relationships that they're building within the classroom, but even outside of the classroom, how they're spending holidays together. And I think that's so realistic because,
That was cute.
yeah, a lot of the times the people that become closest to your life are the people that you work with. You might not bring everybody, but there are always, I feel like there are always a few people that will stay with you from job to job. So I think that's,
I agree.
yeah.
Like in working in a school, that's even more so because I would say there were times at the best, like this pre-COVID, the when we worked at the school, the elementary school in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
I think that was top tier like working environment. It was almost like being in an HBCU if I had to imagine what that was like. Like we would show up to that job, and mind you, I was going from the Bronx to Bed-Stuy
Yeah, I don't know how you did it for what,
for
2 or 3 years. Oh
I
my
think it was like
God.
two. I think it was like 3 years, and it was because I loved it there. I'm not gonna hold you. Like I would wake up at 4, and I would get on the express bus to the 4 train, and I would make it to Bed-Stuy by like 6:45. We'd open, but there was something about that environment and the mostly black staff, the mostly black and brown students. Like there was something about that environment that was encouraging and made you want to do well. It made you want to
Mhm.
help. So not only would we work from like 6 to 6 some days together, we would go hang out after at like a happy
Yeah.
hour or a bar or at Rob's house or something like that. Like there was this guy Rob, we would all convene at his house. So it's like we were spending so much time together. And I was like, I've never in my life spent this much time with people that I worked with. I don't even fuck with people I work with this like this. Like this is crazy to me. But I still to this day am good friends with so many of them because I guess maybe it was a form of trauma bonding. I don't know. But in a way, like I feel like it was just really being in the trenches together day in, day out, but like for a good purpose. So they really do become some of the closest people to you if you're spending from 6 in the morning, sometimes till 9 in the evening with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember the stories.
We won't tell those on the pod,
Oh
but
no, definitely not.
but you know, your teachers are amazing.
But let's get into that impact a little bit of like specifically what Abbott's impact is, which I think is really beautiful to see. Like when I was doing the research, one of the things that I saw was that the school district of Philadelphia actually named a day after the teacher that inspired Abbott
Mm-hmm.
Elementary. So September 26th in Philadelphia is known as Joyce Abbott Day, which is so beautiful. She spent 27 years as a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, and now she has a day after, all the hard work that she put in. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. And then let's see what else. What else? Oh, and I think what was really cool, this story that I saw about Quinta when they first, like literally the first season after she realized that the show was a hit, which was like after the first or second episode. Mind you, I didn't even talk about the ratings. We didn't even
Oh.
talk about how my girl is getting numbers. So, okay. So first of all, they said that her numbers quadrupled the first season after like a few episodes. It's not even like from
Mm-hmm.
episode 1 to episode what 15 or 20, however many episodes they had in the first season. It was like after a few episodes, it quadrupled and it's just continuing to grow. And I'm just like, Quinta.
Well, you want to know, like one of the things I appreciate, especially when it comes to like black and brown like film and television, and I know people probably think I'm the critic here and I'm like overly critical of certain things, and I can be, but I think that's because sometimes it feels like people aren't putting in the work to create like a really good product, and I
Mhm.
think Quinta, even I mean, even though it was probably surprising and unexpected to be like such a hit, I think she went into it trying to create the best product possible, and the like
Mhm.
she created something really good here. She kept it authentic. She had authentic, relatable characters. Like she really took her time writing this and drawing from what she knew. And I think that in and of itself was only going to result in what it did with those numbers and with the critic reviews and all the awards and things like that. Like I do think there's something to be said about creativity being a process, sure, but also making sure you're putting in the effort to create something that's memorable and something that's worthwhile and people are going to really enjoy, even if it's only like 5 people. You want it to be as quality as possible. I just think Quinta did a really good job with her writing and stuff.
Yeah, agreed. Her writing is amazing and her team is amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think just everything, the work that she put in to make sure that the vision came to life as she saw it
Mm-hmm.
is why the show is so successful. So basically, after she saw that success, after like the first few episodes, she took the remaining of some of the marketing money that was
Mm-hmm.
for season one, and they actually spent money on school supplies for real teachers. So I just thought that was so amazing that not only is she creating a show for these teachers, but she's really trying to create impact and change in the community for these teachers as well.
At this point, Quinta is a teacher.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, we did talk about Cheryl Lee Rouse win her
Mm-hmm.
Emmy win, where she became the second Black woman to win in that category of outstanding supporting actress in a comedy. It's been
Mm-hmm.
35 years since Miss Jackie Harry won for 227. I don't know if many of y'all remember Miss Jackie Harry, but the fact that it took
I don't
35
remember.
years. Oh, the mother from Sister Sister, that is Miss Jackie.
I don't remember 227.
227 was a pretty big show. Regina King was in it. Actually, Cheryl Lee Ralph was actually considered for the role that Jackie Harry had. So it's
How about
really
that?
a full circle moment that 35 years later, Cheryl Lee Ralph
Mm-hmm.
won it. So I think that's really cool. The show also has 3 Emmys in total, and it continues to surpass TV ratings, like I was mentioning. Even like shows like Modern Family, which we
Mm-hmm.
know are
Huge.
historical shows at this point. So I just love that the impact that the show is having, and of course they have many, many other awards and things like that. But the fact we all know that the Emmys is like the Oscars of television. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they're continuously being nominated, that they have 3 Emmys already, and I think they'll just continue to get more. So,
I think that like even hearing this, like hearing the tangible impact, I think also speaks a lot to Quinta's trajectory and like
mhm.
where she's come from versus where she is now. Like that shit is beautiful.
It's very inspiring. Like I like sometimes I'll be feeling like I forget that these people are our age and I think that they're older than us or something. Like I was
Because
watching
like,
an
how did you
interview.
do it?
Yeah, I was watching the interview with Sierra and I had to remind myself like she's like the same age as you. Like because sometimes you'll put people on a pedestal
Mm-hmm.
and you have to bring yourself back to reality because it's like it's not that it isn't obtainable for you too, is that sometimes you put so much energy into admiring other people
Mm-hmm.
that you
That you're
almost
not doing the things to get to where they
exactly.
are.
Exactly. So I love Quinta. I appreciate that she's always and when she talks in interviews, she's like, I always knew this was gonna happen for me. Like
Yeah.
straight up, like I had the vision and I worked for it and God provided the provision. Like
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a waiting game because I already knew I was talented enough.
Yeah, even like shopping it around, it's like she still knew, even with like certain rejections and stuff like that, that it was still going to get picked up. Like that unwavering confidence in yourself is a big important like piece to this, like to success, I think. Because again, I tell people all the time, like, oh, why do you think I can't do that? And they'll give me whatever their reason is. I'm like, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is nothing in my life, there is nothing in the history of anything that I've done that has told me anything other than I get exactly what I want.
Oh, yes.
And it's like because like when I look back on my life, it's like everything I said I was going to do, I did.
Hmm.
Everything I said I was going to do. We're still working on $1 million, you guys. But if I don't get it, just pretend like I never said that. But
No,
everything else that I said I
it's
was going to
coming.
do, I did. So I think if Quinta was thinking similarly, where it's like, no, I've done this. I've done this. I went from here to here. Like I've created something that is worthwhile, and I believe in what I've created, even though other people are telling me I shouldn't. Like I think you have to have that unwavering faith in yourself that the thing that you're working on or the idea that you've come up with or the thing you've created is worthwhile for other people, even if the impact is not there immediately. It will
Hmm.
be, because that's the only thing that can happen as a result of putting that work in.
Yes. Okay. So before we get to trivia, I want to know where do you think the storylines are going to go for this new season five that's about to drop?
I feel like if I'm going off of normal television cliches, Gregory and Janine are due for a breakup.
Oh no.
I
I
know.
do think they're gonna have some relationship issues.
They
I don't think they're gonna break up though. But they might. You never know.
because they already had a little bit of the issues when Gregory was not trying to come to karaoke because he was working, because he was trying to support Janine, and he was working like two jobs or something, and there was already like a little bit of a hiccup there. But I think they're due for a breakup if we're going by like cliches of television. I actually have no idea outside of that. That's the only thing I can anticipate. I actually have no idea where this show is going from season to season. I
I
think it's
don't
unpredictable
either.
in that way.
And I agree. Like even the season where Janine left and went to the district, I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, what's happening?
Right. And then came back.
Yeah. So so from what happened at the end of season 4, Ava had all of those issues where she got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got her
With good
job.
reason.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even though we understand why she was doing it, it was a good reason why she was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the district found out and they fired her. And then she got her job back, right? Yeah, they got her
Yeah.
job back.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think, I don't know if there's going to be a more of a like a tightening around them when it comes to the district. Like if they're going to be new characters that are popping up because of what happened with the whole fiasco with the district. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what the aftermath of this situation will be. I do think Ava and her little boo thing will, I think it's Omar, I forgot his name, but I'm interested to see where that storyline goes.
Mm-hmm.
I really do want to see Ava like in love and like soft girl life and all this other thing.
Same.
Um, and then yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to anybody else. I think they might give Jacob a new boo. I wouldn't be
Oh, I forgot.
surprised.
Jacob does need a new boo.
Yeah, or a new hobby or something. I think they're gonna do something
Yeah.
for Jacob this season. And I think I'm trying to think of whose backstory they might dive into a little bit more. Maybe it's Gregory's.
I
Um,
feel like we've gotten a little bit of Gregory, but not enough. And I do think I would like a little bit of Jacob's backstory too.
yeah, we only know that he has a brother. He doesn't get along with his parents too well because I think because of him being gay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Maybe
but
address some homophobia.
yeah, I do think we need to get more into Janine and her sister because we haven't seen the sister yet that she doesn't really get along with.
Oh, we only saw Taraji like as her mom.
Hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what else will happen. I definitely think we'll probably get more into Ava's backstory just because if she's starting to date and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
obviously more will be revealed. And I would love if they would bring a new teacher in.
I
Like,
would love that. I would also
yeah.
love if somewhere in the future, because you remember when I hate to make the parallels between The Office, but I mean, come on. When Jim and Pam got engaged and they had like the whole wedding and stuff like that, I hope we get a wedding episode. I do hope we get something like
I
that
think
in
we
the
have to wait a few
future.
more seasons for that though.
We will, but that's why I
Yeah,
said sometime in the future, I would love to get that wedding episode, and
we
maybe
have
that'll be
to.
like we have to, because I think even though we're due for the if we're going by my own timeline, even though we're due for the breakup, because Whitley and fucking
Dwayne Wayne.
Dwayne,
Yes, that's
it's
what I'm
like
saying. Like they
there's
have to give
always the
us
moment.
these wedding moments, like for example, A Different World and Insecure at this point. So I
Oh,
think
yep,
they're gonna eventually give it to us.
they will.
So I forgot to mention this.
Uh-uh.
I don't know, but I low key feel like Quinta in real life and Tyler in real life might get together.
I've been wanting that, but part of me is like I can't base them on their characters
I
because
know.
I know that's not like real life. But I'm like, how different can they
I
possibly be? Because
mean,
the way
she's
he be looking at her in that show, I'm like, are you that's acting? How was he emoting that way? I don't think there's enough that's said about like the way Gregory acts with his like the way Tyler James is it Williams?
yeah.
The way he acts with his face.
Yes.
I think he has the most.
He's
It's
so
like Jonathan
good.
Majors as far as like an emotive face and being able to convey an emotion.
The
And
subtle emotions, yes.
girl, the way he be like loving her, I'm like, is this real? Am I like walking in on a moment, or is this like you guys are just really good actors? Apparently, I don't know. I don't know.
So
We'll see.
in my heart of hearts, I hope that they get together eventually. It could be after the show, they could be professional, and then after the show ends, surprise, surprise. But,
Surprise, surprise! I
but
love that lady.
Okay, so these are the things we're hoping for new season. Let's get into some trivia.
Girl, I don't know how good I'm gonna be at this, but let's do it.
Let's do some trivia.
We
Trivia.
should do more trivia
Let's
too
do
in some of these
some
episodes.
trivia. Trivia.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
so
I'm ready.
normally, how I do it with our actual events, we do 2 rounds of trivia. The first round is 15 questions and it is fill in the blank. The second round is 15 questions and it's multiple choice. Because I know you're a little rusty, we're going to do
Very
the second
rest.
round with multiple choice.
We're
It's only
doing 15?
15 questions. 10,
Oh, okay.
yes. Okay, question one. Very easy. What city is the show Abbott Elementary filmed in?
Oh,
Philly, Los
yes.
Angeles, or Atlanta?
Philly. Imagine how I said Atlanta. Like a whole here.
Girl, how you get that answer wrong? We literally just talked about this.
I said Philly.
What city is the show filmed in?
Oh, LA.
Oh my
I
gosh.
thought you meant what city does it take place in?
Yeah, and this is all
My
right.
best.
Question two. How
Mhm.
long do new teachers normally last at Abbott Elementary? 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years?
Ooh, that one's kind of hard. I would say a year.
Wrong again.
Oh,
two
what is it?
years.
Actually, there's a statistic that I think almost 50% of teachers actually exit the field of teaching after 5 years.
Okay, that's better. Well, you mean they leave the field altogether.
Yeah,
They're just done with teaching. Okay.
yeah.
I think that's actually longer than I would expect.
I did too. I
But
think it's
I
around like
do
44% or something.
but I do know teachers hop from school to school because
Yeah.
it's rough out here for y'all. It
And
is.
maybe they hop within that first 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, question number three. Why did the teacher, Miss Schwartz, get fired in episode one? She cussed out a student, she kicked a student, or she was fighting with a student's parent.
Damn. Episode one.
Yes.
She was fighting with a student's parent.
And she kicked a student. I know. She kicked a student. And then you remember she went on to work at the charter school, their nemesis charter school. She's
Oh,
there
they
now.
poached her, which I
No,
mean,
they didn't poach her, that they just hired her without really looking at her background.
oh, I was like, then how? Why would they? Why would they do that? Because they usually actually keep record of like the things that teachers do or things they've been accused of and stuff like that. So
Oh, well, that's good to know.
yeah,
All right, question four. What TV show do the teachers love to watch in the teachers' lounge? Action News, Good Morning America, or Coffee at 8 a.m.?
um, this is a guess. Good Morning America.
No, girl. Action News. They love Action News.
Mm,
There's one particular older reporter that Cheryl, Miss Barbara loves. Okay, question five. What
mm.
is the full name of Abbott Elementary? Eugene Abbott, Howard J. Abbott, or Willard R. Abbott?
Willard R. Abbott.
Yes, finally, girl.
I feel like
Finally.
that's on the opening segment, so I remember that because I've been conditioned to remember it.
I put my daddy's name in here. I was like, Howard J. Abbott.
Love that. It sounded legit though. That would be my second guess.
Um, question six. What was the first piece of advice Gregory asked Miss Howard for? How to speak to a parent, how to control his classroom, or how to ask her daughter out.
How to speak to a parent.
Yes. Ding, ding,
Mm-hmm.
ding, ding. Okay, getting better.
Right?
What R&B group songs does Mr. Johnson use to work the school lights? Is it Boys to Men, Jagged Edge, or Drew Hill?
Boys to Men.
Okay, okay.
That was a lucky guess because Boys to Men, Billy.
Oh, you're okay. You're right. I didn't even put two and two together. Okay. Okay, question eight. Janine told Gregory the walls are the X of the classroom, the heart, the soul, or the eyes of the classroom.
The walls?
Yes,
Oh, the heart.
wrong. They are the soul of the classroom.
Oh, close enough. But that does sound like some shit she would say.
Yeah, this is when she was telling that man to decorate.
Yeah.
She told him. Okay, question number 9. What is the name of the improv group that Jacob was an alumni of that performed at Abbott? Story Charlemagne, the Story Samurai, or Storytelling Crew?
Story Samurai.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember that because when they went to that conference, he found some other friends that were from the same group.
you got it, girl. Okay. Last question. What teacher is forced to teach second and third graders at the same time? Melissa, Miss Howard, or Janine?
Melissa.
Yes. Ding, ding,
Yep.
ding,
I
ding.
remember she was frazzled.
All right. You got like 4 answers correct.
Yay! Yay! That was almost half. That's way better than I thought I would do.
So that's just a little sneak peek of some of the questions that we have. This last trivia night was actually really tough because the teams were really good at their Abbott trivia. We had to do a tiebreaker the first round,
Oh.
and we had to do like an extra like 9 questions to finally get the tiebreaker. It was crazy. It was a good
Oh, see? Did much better. See, I'm glad I wasn't on nobody's team. I'd have been like, hey,
time.
don't rely on me for anything.
The
Okay.
question, okay, I will tell you the question that got everybody
What
was
was it?
was the name of Melissa's sister. Nobody knew it.
I don't know that one.
Krista Marie.
Which seemed like once you say it, like, oh duh.
But yeah, I
But
would never guess at
yeah,
all.
no. No chance.
So
No
I
chance.
felt really good that it had some questions that stumped some people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really fun. So, yeah, if you guys want to come to some of our trivia nights, please sign up for our newsletter where we send out more details. We send out movie recommendations. We send out the podcast episodes. And of course, new things that are happening with us. Like we got a few features and a few magazines. Femi magazine and the Daily Tar Heel, which is from my alma mater, UNC. So super excited about that. Woo woo. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting us, you guys. Make sure you follow us on, all the social platforms, the YouTubes, the Instagram, the TikToks. And we appreciate your support. We're really excited about this new season. Is there any words you want to say before we head out?
No, I just always appreciate the support. Every listener matters.
Every listener matters. It sounds like a PBS ad. Thank you. That was great. All right, until next time, you guys. Love always. Mwah.